Hello, Buddhas! Today we are going to talk about how to kill off a shitty habit. Now, before we get started, thank you for hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell notification, setting it to all, commenting down below how much you love yourself, and as always, that like button, give that thumbs up. Now, that is a good habit to get into when you are consuming YouTube content. But what if you've got some bad habits that you want to get rid of? What if you watch too much damn porn? What if you drink too much alcohol? What if you're smoking weed all day and you're not getting anything done? Well, how the F do you stop doing that? One of my favorite little parables or stories here that I'm going to kind of make up on a whim is the whole idea of killing off desire. What exactly is desire? Well, if you were to go to a, let's say, Buddhist master and say, hey, I want to do the things that you guys are doing, and that looks pretty cool. They're going to say, all right, stop desiring anything. And you're going to go, all right, cool. So now I have a desire not to desire. So I'm super meta about this, but how do I then fulfill my desire not to have a desire? You can't. Give up now, just go do something else, all those drugs and stuff over there, if that's what you want to do. Not recommending it. So, when you're in this predicament, there is only one real thing to accept, and that is, we desire. You desire something all of the time, no matter what, you can't not desire, alright? Give up all your desires would mean that you would cease breathing, because your body desires air in order to live. Now, I know that that doesn't necessarily sound like, oh, well, Buddha billionaire guy, I desire nice fancy cars and cool clothing and stuff, but I don't desire air. Ah, that's where you're wrong. You do desire air. You just are so used to abusing the air and not appreciating it that you've stopped trying to attain it because you've never been in a situation where you're 20 feet underwater and you don't have any air. If you're in that situation, all of a sudden you're going to desire air a lot. I can guarantee it. Now, you don't need to drown yourself in order to understand how important air is. Just hold your breath for a little bit. See how long you can do it. All of a sudden, you're going to desire it. And then breathe. Don't kill yourself, please. You can't. Actually, I don't think that's even possible. Don't test it. Not recommended. So what do we do when we have these desires? Let's say a popular one these days is the whole, oh, I'm addicted to Pornhub shit. Well, the most straightforward way that I have been able to come over that addiction, and yes, I have consumed a copious amount of porn in my life. Not ashamed. How do you, though, go ahead and accept that and change that and do something about that? First thing, stop shaming yourself for it. Okay? If you are doing something and then you're making yourself feel shitty about it, you're not helping. So give up with the shitty feeling on this stuff. Enjoy it. You have a desire? Cool. Enjoy it as much as you possibly can. But then you're going to get to a point where you're watching this video and you're saying, hey, I desire not to desire that other thing. How do I flip that switch? Well, there's a couple different methods that you can take. You can go cold turkey, just stop and completely delete your porn library and just never go on the internet ever again. Tried that, it doesn't work, because when you do that, you want to go back to it, and you have all these desires still. Your desire level's up here, and you're giving yourself this much to match it, and you're like, this difference here, that causes that tension, and then that sucks. And you're going to break the spell, and you're going to go back down to your old habits. Guaranteed, get over it, it's totally okay. I'm not expecting anyone to go from full-blown addict on anything to completely clean. It's doable. I'm not saying it's not. But you don't have to do it to yourself that way. What I have learned over the years with being interested in doing anything is that the first time you do something, it's a little bit difficult. You're like, okay, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone to do this, or to watch this video I shouldn't watch, right? And then, oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay, I'm going to do more and more and more and more and more. And sooner or later, it's just natural, and you're just consuming it. So what if we took the same approach to not consuming it? And to, instead of shaming yourself for being at 100% addiction level, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to reduce the amount of, or the frequency that I do this thing. And if that means, for smoking, for example, okay, so I'm smoking a pack a day, which I've never personally smoked cigarettes, but I've talked to people who have, and it's one of those incredibly interesting human conditions. If you go from a pack a day to say, okay, well, I'm going to have one cigarette left over every day, you could probably do that, right? And make that your new set point. And then you get used to it. And then you're okay. And then, okay, I'm going to have 2 cigarettes left. And you can constantly reduce it. That's another method, right? Until at the end of the day, you're going to buy a pack of cigarettes, you're going to go, do I even want to open this for 1 cigarette? And you're going to pitch it, and you're going to be all right. And then you may come back to them at one point, but you're going to be conscious of the process, and you're going to know that you can hem and haw and go up and down, and that's how this works. You can also take the Tony Robbins method of learning how to quit smoking, which is to buy a carton of cigarettes and to force yourself to smoke them until you get sick. I am not recommending this in any way, but it's an incredibly interesting story to share, where if you make yourself sick of something, you don't want to do it anymore. This has happened to me in my life a couple times, where I ate something that I really liked constantly, and then it would make me feel crappy afterwards. So I disassociated the positive feelings of the eating of the thing that I wanted to eat, and I reassociated it with the negative feeling of like, oh my god, I'm going to hurl. And then I didn't like that thing anymore. You can do that with anything. That's the process that I've been going through with porn addiction. And the ultimate goal is completely eradicating it as an addiction in my life, but that doesn't mean to be scared of seeing naked bodies, oh my god! No, it's not that extreme. But you have to make it so that you don't desire to do the thing, not to not do the thing. That's where everyone gets this wrong. Completely freaking wrong. You can't diet, and this is dieting of mental, physical, consumables, anything. You can't just diet yourself into a healthier body. You have to desire to have a healthier body. You have to desire to have a cleaner mind. You have to desire the goal that you want. And when you've reassociated the desire, that's when the things fall away. I no longer desire to just sit at my computer and waste a bunch of energy. That's not a desire in my head anymore. Now, things still happen. The world still goes on. There are still cravings and there are still flashes. But, pun intended, but what we need to understand is where the desire lies is where we're going to send our energy. So as infinite spiritual beings who are here to embody desire and bring it forth, if your desire is to have a low-level, basic, bitch kind of life, then go for it. No judgment. But if your desire is to attain higher, and if your desire is to consume great content like the one you're consuming now, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, then you need to align your life with that desire. And the most incredible part about this entire thing, if you stayed to the end, then you get the secret. When you design your life so that you have the goals and you have the desires and you've reassociated, like, I desire to have X, which is something I've never experienced before and that's what I want. Well, the things in your life that are holding you back will eventually fade away. And the easiest way to get over an addiction is to not worry about getting over it, but to focus your energy on what you actually want. And the more energy you focus in the direction of what you want, the things you don't want start to fall away. And you go, okay, I'm going to smoke that cigarette, and you smoke it, and you go, doesn't really, it's just not the, why am I even doing this? Because there's so much more power and so much more intention on where you want to go than where you once were. And again, if you want to stay here, that's fine. But if you want to go over there is going to start to pull you in. And when over there starts to pull you, then over here where you are is going to start to fade. And your entire life is going to change and explode, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to have so much fun, and you're going to be so excited about everything that you're not even going to know how to contain yourself. And then you're going to remember, the absolute most important thing Buddhas is to love yourself.